All right, and we are off. So, like always, run starts in Cap Kingdom. Pretty short kingdom, so it's really all based on small movement optimization. So we can see the differences between how these two runners do it. Because I feel even among the top runners, there are a lot of differences in movement. It's really there's a lot of ways to do it really quickly, and it's all up to personal preference, really, for a lot of things. And so far, they seem to be doing pretty much the same thing. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe this is just faster, no doubt. So p4ntz is coming up on the Topper Brutal fight. I'm not sure what his name actually is, but very commonly known as Topper. Not too difficult of a boss fight, but it's not exactly the hardest to mess up. And Riku's going... p4ntz and Riku actually did diverge from one another here. Riku went along the left side of the hat, and p4ntz went along the right side. Very good fight by p4ntz. Topper is his proper name. Okay. I wasn't sure if he had a different name. I'm really not sure on what any of the brutal names are. Riku getting a little unlucky with the fight, but it still was a pretty good fight overall. I believe p4ntz's audio. Yeah, p4ntz's audio is the only one playing right now. Good start by p4ntz. Riku just getting a little bit unlucky with the chain chomp. Those extra blocks really can be quite annoying sometimes. p4ntz coming up on Dino Skip, I believe is what people call it. Really can be kind of a finicky trick because it's kind of precise. So it can be really annoying to get. But he does get it quite well. So Madame Brutal is kind of a interesting fight because it can either go really well or really horribly, like a lot of boss fights in this game actually. If Madame Brutal decides to just be mean, she can be very, very mean. And if she decides to be nice, the boss fight can go very, very well. And p4ntz had a pretty dang good boss fight there, so... And we'll see how Riku's boss fight fares out. He took a bit of damage, but he's still Made pace there. Yeah, that right there is kind of what I mean by Madame Brutal being a little mean. If she positions herself weirdly, you can kind of get stuck, and she just won't. You won't be able to attack her. It can be quite annoying sometimes. And now p4ntz is finished with Cascade, so he will be moving on to Sand Kingdom next, which can be quite brutal sometimes. Excuse pun. That was horrible, I'm sorry. Right, and Riku is now also done with Cascade, so two of them will be starting Cap Kingdom, or Sand Kingdom really quickly here. Now, Sand Kingdom is also very interesting because there are lots of variations to the route here. There's Sphinx Clip, there's no Sphinx Clip, and even beyond that, there's quite a few different variations. Like you can get p4ntz opted to skip the bird there, and I assume he will be getting it in Oasis later. Safety strat would be to get the bird right there instead of an Oasis, because if your movement ends up being a little off, you can miss bird there, which can be quite punishing. No pun intended. That was some nice movement by Riku up to the overlooking moon. Appears both runners may be opting to skip the bird here and getting it later. p4ntz had a very good cycle there with the bullet bill. He's able to grab it to go get the pillar moon. That trick can be quite punishing if you make a small movement mistake. The bullet bill will blow itself up, and that wastes quite a bit of time. Right, and here comes p4ntz on the Sphinx Clip, which probably the hardest part of the whole run, and he gets it very, very quickly. I was exaggerating a little bit. It's not the hardest part. We have Mecha Brutal later, which is very, very difficult to get. At least fast and not messing it up. Yes, very good. Very good display by p4ntz. Riku having some trouble with the bullet bill here. p4ntz's Sand Kingdom has been very good so far, so he should have no trouble hitting the bird in Oasis. No huge movement mistakes or anything, so it's a very good Sand Kingdom. Alright, and p4ntz is finished with Sand Kingdom. He'll be moving on to Lake Kingdom next, which is a very short kingdom and not the hardest kingdom, but it still can mess you up a little bit. That really applies to any part of the run. This game, even though its options for movement are endless, can still punish you for doing the wrong thing. Ooh. Riku not quite making the jump up to the Jaxi. Be set back quite a bit. Ooh, and he also got to get the Sans Moon here. Riku doing something interesting, seems to be skipping the Jaxi Moon. I'm not sure how... Although I suppose he can get the bird and then... Okay, no, I can see how he can do it. Never mind. Misses the bird there, but the bird does another pass around, so he should still be safe. Alright, and with notes, that should call the end of Sand Kingdom for him. And p4ntz moves into the second boss fight of the game, or third boss fight of the game, sorry. Which is Rango. You can get him stuck in that loop, that loop there like p4ntz did, and he can become quite trivial if done right. Just a few simple jumps. And Riku closes out Sand Kingdom with some an unfortunate death, which did lose him quite a bit of time. He might be a little bit back now, but he's definitely not out of this race. Anything can happen. And p4ntz closing out Lake Kingdom. And he will be off to Wooded. Bunny being a little bit rude to Pants. And Pants is rude right back to him, so it's all good. So with the Sphinx clip that Pants did and getting the coins at the Jaxie moon, he won't have to worry about coins for the rest of the route, as we only buy 2 moons, which only requires 200 coins. And since he just bought his first moon and he still has over 100 coins, he'll be perfectly okay. So he won't have to worry about anything later in the run. And that'll be the same with Riku, as he did the normal Sphinx. And he has over 200 coins right now, so he'll be perfectly fine. Riku with a very good brutal fight. Now, Wooded Kingdom has a couple route variations here too. Hans is doing one of them where you, after getting that nut moon, you go right down to the underwater segment here, and then afterwards you climb your way back up to the red maze. The other route variation is to go right to the maze after that nut, and then hit a checkpoint and jump down. And then after that you warp. After finishing this underwater segment, you just warp back up, so you don't have to do the climb. Unfortunate damage from Pants, but he does get back up very easily. And Riku is done with Lake Kingdom. And this would be the moon that you would do right after Nut if you were doing the other route. Ooh, unfortunate death by Pants. And he did not get the checkpoint up by the piranha plant, so he will be restarting from the water pipe. Quite unfortunate. Still, very good climb back up, so it was good recovery from that mistake. Ooh, and Pants going with the triple jump method to skip the P block. Very nice. And Riku doing the same route, Pants, so we will not see the other route today. Not in this race, at least. Having trouble getting up there, but he manages to do it. I'm not positive on that, though I'm not quite sure if... I'm just trying to think, you'd probably just cap vault not on the ledge, or would you just stand on the ledge to get that? Very good brutal fight by p4ntz as well. My assumption is that the triple jump with the ground pound speed boost is probably faster, but not positive. Oh, vault from a P-switch platform. I would say just because you get the speed boost immediately after gaining control of Mario with the triple jump method, I would say that that is likely faster. Riku going with just the regular P block. Or switch, rather. p4ntz moving on to Cloud Kingdom, the first Bowser boss fight of the game. Ooh, very nice movement by p4ntz. Captured it from far away, but was able to roll into him quick enough before Bowser could jump away. Ooh, not able to get that fast method for the Bowser fight, which is quite tricky to pull off. Right, and a good brutal for Riku. Alright, and with that, p4ntz will be moving on to Lost Kingdom, which can be quite a tough kingdom, with quite a few jumps that are a little scary to make. Such as the infamous tree right at the start of the kingdom here. Getting a triple jump off of it can be quite a pain. Yeah, that's usually ends up what happening when wow, I cannot talk. That usually ends up happening when people mess up this tree, is Mario does not triple jump and instead just does a single jump. Still manages to get it quite quickly. And Riku heading to the Cloud Kingdom boss fight now. Now, Lost Kingdom is a little different than most kingdoms because in this one, you have to activate that Klepto there that p4ntz just did. If you don't do that, the Klepto will steal Cappy's hat, which is quite annoying, and you'll have to go get it back, which is quite time-consuming. Ooh, and p4ntz going for the Cage Moon over here. It's a little faster than doing the Stone Cage, but it's not something I've seen very often. So seeing that is quite nice. And p4ntz is now done with Lost Kingdom, and he'll be moving on to Night Metro, which is probably one of the more punishing regular kingdom areas of the whole game. And Riku's done with Bowser, and he'll be moving on to Lost. Ooh. Unfortunate mistake by Riku causes him a death. Thankfully, he's only at the very start of Lost, so the death isn't terribly punishing. He can easily just get back to where he was without having to go out of his way. Because a death later in Lost means that you have to go reactivate the Klepto most of the time. Which is very time-consuming if it takes that long. It looks like Riku's doing an older route. Can be quite a bit safer. p4ntz also doing a lot safer way to get over to the girder there. It's a tiny bit slower, but a lot safer. Especially since that jump is very difficult to make consistently. Ooh, and Riku hits the Klepto trigger. That is quite unfortunate. I will give Riku props for these small mistakes he's making right now. He is still adapting to them quite well. Making sure to grab that moon under the stairs there on his way to get Cappy. Very good way to adapt to some unfortunate mistakes. And p4ntz is now on the Mecha Wiggler boss fight. Hoping for 2-cycle, which is the fastest way you can finish this boss fight. Missing a 2-cycle wastes quite a bit of time. Ooh. Low health can be quite scary on this. He still manages to make the 2-cycle and finishes the boss fight. Very good fight by p4ntz. Riku getting his last moon and moving on to Night Metro. Just as p4ntz leaves it. This just in, PhoenixRiku is going to skip 3 worlds. I am very interested to see this display. p4ntz getting that little movement skip there, where you can just motion control the hat onto the wire as you're getting the other moon. Very small time save, but looks quite great. Looks quite... I don't know. Good. Right, this is Good Girder Moon by PhoenixRiku. Like I said before, that moon can be quite difficult to get without missing, so getting that is very good. And Riku moves into City Center, which can be a difficult little area. Easy to mess up jumps. Yeah, something like that happening is a little sucky, but it's not a huge time loss. Ooh, p4ntz getting lucky with that ledge grab there to grab the moon. Ooh. That climbing technique's not something I've seen before. It's very interesting. Riku about to move on to the Mecha Wiggler boss fight. No hole in one for p4ntz, sadly. A little rough time grabbing the lever, and a little bit of some movement going on in this back alley for p4ntz. A little bit of movement irregularities. Ooh, Riku just missing the 2 cycle. He only had one more part of the Wiggler to shoot. Very unfortunate. Wiggler's bullying Riku a little bit, but he manages to get the boss fight down. Alright, and p4ntz is moving up on the man, the myth, the legend, Otep. Can I get some OTEPs in the chat, please? Yay! Alright, and for p4ntz, that closes out Day Metro, and that closes out Night Metro for Riku. So p4ntz will be moving on to Snow Kingdom here. Another short kingdom. Ooh, Riku trying the wire skip and accidentally moving down the wire. Now, Snow Kingdom's kind of a irregularity in the speedrun because we do a lot of the story moons in this area. Most kingdoms we try to avoid doing as many story moons as possible because their cutscenes take up quite a bit of time. In Snow Kingdom we end up doing quite a few of them. Well, you know, I guess it's only 2. We do 3 in Metro. It just feels like a lot because Snow Kingdom's a lot smaller and it's more densely packed. Getting them right after another. First and only time we see Captain Toad for the entire run. OTEP is OTEP. Oh, p4ntz will be buying his second moon right away here. Which is the second and last moon that you buy in the run, which is why we get coins at Sphinx, which is what both runners did. Yes, OTEP is what the bassist says when you get his moon in Metro. And for an unknown reason, the community has taken to it. Now, in this room that p4ntz is in, the spinies here at the end can be quite trolly, and they can decide to not be blown off the edge, which is quite annoying. p4ntz a solid back alley. And p4ntz has no troubles with the spinies. The bracket, if you do !SMO, you'll be able to see all the applicable links for the Odyssey tournament, including the bracket and the points of everybody in the round robin currently. Riku moving in on OTEP once again. Ooh. p4ntz showing off some very solid movement in this Snow Kingdom. And Riku is now done with Metro, so I assume he'll be moving on to Snow Kingdom and not Seaside, as he has enough coins to buy the moon and snow. Alright, and p4ntz is now done with Snow Kingdom. Once again, as p4ntz leaves, Riku enters. So p4ntz moving on to Seaside Kingdom, which is, again, another very short kingdom. Now this first moon of Seaside has quite a tricky jump. It's quite precise to get. Yeah, that can happen quite easily. Bonking here is not uncommon. Makes a second try though, which is very good. I forgot to mention, with Metro out of the way, we're basically at the halfway point of the run. This is, after Seaside here is kind of when things start really kicking into gear, with Luncheon Kingdom and Bowser Kingdom, which are two very difficult kingdoms. That room that p4ntz just did, can be a little tricky, as the depth perception can throw you off quite easily. It's very easy to jump past the hat and miss it, as it's kind of hard to tell where Mario is. Riku opting to do the Goomba Cave first, rather than the... Oh man, what's the other room called? The Spiny Room. Oh yeah, absolutely, Blind Rage Ray. Ken, so... Generally, the reason they're getting the moons they're getting is basically because they're the easiest moons to get in the quickest pattern that they can get them. There's probably moons that are a little bit faster to get once you're on the way, but in relation to the other moons, the moons that they're getting are generally the moons that are the quickest way to get them in the path that they're taking. For any percent we want to get the required moons for each kingdom as quickly as possible. So this is just what has been routed out so far for those quickest moons, which ends up usually being around, like for Seaside Kingdom, it's only about 8 moons, though Metro is a lot more to leave the kingdom. You just need, a specific amount of moons to leave each kingdom, and these are just the fastest moons that are routed in right now. It's always subject to change. New movement tech or something can always be found, but this is just what's generally fastest right at this given time right now. As for any hard spots, p4ntz is actually coming up to Luncheon Kingdom, which is has a very tricky jump right off the start here. It's a very precise jump to get up to the moon on the salt pile, which is quite difficult. It requires a very precise... There's many ways to get it. You can do a ground pound jump, which I believe is the smallest jump out of the 3 main big jumps. You can do a triple jump as p4ntz just did, which is the highest jump out of the 3 main big jumps. And then you can... I don't think people do it because it's quite slow, but you can also do a ground pound cap vault, which... is, I think, around the height of a triple jump, but not quite as high. But most people do not opt for that. Ooh, quite unfortunate. Thankfully, p4ntz does not die there, though he is going into the boss with 1 health, which can be a little tricky. And Riku is also finished with Snow, so he'll be moving to Seaside Kingdom next. Yes, those blank circles in the top left do show you how many moons you need. For Luncheon, it's gone now, so I can't see it, but it does show you how many moons you need up there, if you're curious on how close they are to the end of the kingdom. So p4ntz going into the little lava secret here. Riku doing this little seaside jump, a little different than p4ntz. p4ntz did it with a triple jump, and Riku seems to be doing it with a backflip. I did forget about backflipping. Backflipping is also a nice way, a very high jump. I think it's comparable to a ground pound, but I might be wrong on that. Very good movement by p4ntz in Luncheon so far. Riku doing that weird depth perception room that I mentioned earlier. Getting it quite easily. Yes, getting a moon with less than full health is quite slow because you do have to sit through a small little extra cutscene to refill your health. So having your health at full, even if it wastes like a second, usually ends up being a bit faster. So it looks like p4ntz is skipping the Forks Moon, which I believe is probably the most common route in Luncheon. So Luncheon does actually have 2 routes in it, or at least 2 main routes, which is right after that Salt Pile Moon that p4ntz got a little bit ago. You go into another secret room, and you capture forks that are stuck into the wall to go to the top of Small Mountain and collect 2 moons. p4ntz opted to not do that and is instead going to the Podobo room, where is a lot trickier, in my opinion, but is very satisfying and quite easy to do once you get used to it. Yes, I do hope that Riku does fork so we can see both. It's just interesting to see the 2 different routes side by side. And we see Riku, sorry, not Riku, p4ntz going into the Mega Room now. Yes, Odyssey does not have a whole lot of RNG in it, but the hammers from the Hammer Brothers are one of them. Which is probably one of the more punishing things in the game, because you can sit there forever. Ooh, very nice movement by p4ntz. And Riku's finished with Seaside here. This is a very nice Seaside. He'll be heading off to Luncheon too. I do not believe there's any minimum capture 90% tournaments now, but there are minimum capture runs. So a tournament in the future isn't out of the question. Alright, and p4ntz gets the Luncheon Multi-Moon, so with that he is finished collecting all the moons in Luncheon. So he'll be moving on to Ruined Kingdom for the second last boss fight. That's a lie. There is another boss fight in Bowser before Mecha. 2 more boss fights, actually. There's quite a few more boss fights left. Yes, the Fireball Room and Forks Room are very similar in time. I'm not sure if there's any difference at all. There might be, and if there is, it's very small. But yes, Forks is a lot easier. To learn, for a beginner especially. And it's also just a lot more consistent. Very good brutal fight by Riku. There's a 3 seconds difference, so is Forks faster by 3 seconds or Magma Narrow faster by 3 seconds? I feel like it could probably go either way. They're both very, very fast. And p4ntz kind of just... completely just forgot about this. p4ntz is fighting probably the weirdest boss fight in this entire game, which is the very weirdly realistic dragon. Forks is 3 seconds faster. Okay, that actually does surprise me a little bit, because I always thought the Fireball Room was really, really fast. Yeah, p4ntz is fighting this very realistic dragon, which is very weird for a Mario game. It's not the most difficult boss fight. The way to do it is to do the little damage boosting strats that p4ntz is doing to get on top of the dragon faster. It just saves a little bit of time per cycle, as you can get on top of here faster and start throwing your hat at those little pegs. Ooh! Very unfortunate death by p4ntz. Have to redo the whole boss fight from the start here, which sucks quite a bit. Yes, p4ntz does ground pound those moons there, or those hearts there, so he can get them after each cycle, so he doesn't have to worry about it when he's being pelted by the faster laser circle things by the dragon. Now let's see, this is where the route for Riku might change from p4ntz's. If he decides to go for forks here, it'll be different, slightly different than what p4ntz did in Luncheon. And he is. Riku is going for the forks room. So this is the alternate room that p4ntz opted to do that fireball room instead. This is the other room that you do. A lot better fight by p4ntz this time as he finishes the boss fight. And those are the only 3 moons you need to get in Ruined Kingdom. So after he collects this moon and goes back to the Odyssey, p4ntz will be moving on to the second last kingdom of the game, Bowser Kingdom, which is probably one of the more interesting parts of this run, as it has arguably the hardest boss fight of the entire game. Which we see at the very end of the kingdom. It's very punishing to have such a difficult boss, even in a speedrun setting, in the last, like, 10 minutes of the entire speedrun. Very good cheese RNG from Riku. Was able to get that quite quickly. Even once you're fairly consistent at the Cappy stuff, or the boss fight, it's still not difficult to mess it up. It's fairly easy to screw it up. It's probably the scariest part of the whole run for runners. Especially because one mistake can throw away a whole run. I believe that might be it for RNG, really. There's not a whole lot else. If anything. Yeah, this can be a very close run. This can be a very close race, rather. Alright, and Riku will be just getting up that last moon of Luncheon here. before he heads off to the Skyrim boss fight. Or Dragon boss fight. My bad. I imagine nerves are beginning to set in quite heavily for both runners as they get closer to the end of the game here. It's quite easy to let your nerves get to you. So p4ntz is doing a slightly different route than what I believe is the most optimal right now. Though it's still a fairly quick route, which is to get that moon there that he just got with the bird by sticking the bird's nose in the wall, the moon spawns. There's an alternate route where you get a moon at the very beginning of the kingdom. And it's slightly faster, I believe. Not by much. We'll see if Riku goes for it. Very nice. I'm not sure what that moon's called. There's a very nice movement by p4ntz to get that moon. p4ntz goes into the Harriet boss fight. Which can be quite tricky because her bombs are quite tricky to hit if you're not very precise. You can hit them, but they won't hit Harriet. Doing very well so far. Riku's doing pretty well on the dragon boss fight so far. And that was a very good fight by p4ntz. Now he's off to the topper once again. Right now we're only hearing p4ntz's sound just because he's ahead. Just because, yeah, hearing both games at once would be a little bit conflicting and confusing. Ooh, he loses track of where Topper is here, which is very easy to do if you don't get him out of his hat very quickly. No, shaking is not faster. It's kind of perceived to be faster just because of how the sound works. It just feels faster, but actually timed out. It's Riku getting a little dangerous at the end there with only 1 health, but he manages to finish the dragon fight. So Riku will be joining p4ntz in Bowser Kingdom shortly as p4ntz goes to the final climb of Bowser Kingdom before he moves on to the last boss of the kingdom and the hardest boss of the game. In most's opinion. You could disagree. Ooh, some very tricky tech there from p4ntz. Alright, and p4ntz does a very good climb up to this boss. Alright, and p4ntz enters the Mecha Brutal boss fight. He appears to be going for Birdless, which skips... The way you're intended to do this boss fight is to capture the bird that the boss just spit out right there, and then you're supposed to hit the bombs back at the boss so you can climb up him as the bird to attack each of the brutals sitting in the glass cages. But that is quite slow, so most runners do a tech called birdless, which avoids getting the bird altogether, and is quite tricky to perform. The time affects you if there's a tie with win-losses with other people in your bracket. So if there's a bracket with two people have 2 losses and 1 win, then whoever has the fastest times overall over the course of all 3 races will be the one who continues on, or will be the winner among those 2. And p4ntz does a rather clean mecha boss fight. There was a small, very minuscule error during that 3rd cycle, but very small. And with that, all p4ntz has left to do is Moon Kingdom. If someone got world record, they would just probably be crowned the winner of that race. Getting world record really doesn't affect whether or not you win. That's just your time for that race. That's all that really matters. So both runners actually went for this bird wall moon here, so we won't be seeing the other route in this race. Ooh. A very unfortunate death for Riku. I believe he'll have to re-get all 5 of those moon pieces. I'm not sure if they carry over. Judging from the lack of HUD, I'm going to assume they do not, so he'll have to redo that whole area. Oh, he does not. Never mind. The HUD just disappears when you're not in that area. That's very good for Riku, because having to redo that whole area would bite even more. Yes, at least he did. If he had missed the checkpoint, he would have had to restart it from the Odyssey, which would have been unfortunate. So, p4ntz is now on the moon, and he's coming up on a trick, which has various names. I believe the most common one is Moon Skip. Basically, when you're playing this game normally, there's a room that you have to go through to get to the wedding chapel. It takes quite a long time because it's a very large room. So what runners do is there's a sphinx at the alongside the moon here that, if with a very precise jump, hat jump, and wall jump, you can jump all the way to the top here and skip that entire area. It is quite a precise trick. You have to wall jump off this wall right here in a very precise position. p4ntz gets it second try, which is very nice. That was a little bit scary, but he does manage to get back on the ledge as Riku moves into the boss fights for the 2 brutals. p4ntz missing the fast cycle for this first bit. which loses a little bit of time, but it's not a major time loss. Now, the interesting thing about this little cycle right here is even though Bowser's Flame looks very big, you actually, all it requires to not get hit by his flame there is to just not be on the ground. Even if you're only the slightest bit above the ground, you will not get hit by Bowser's Flame. And Riku finishes Harriet, and he'll be moving on to Topper. p4ntz has been trying in both Bowser fights to get the very fast method of finishing this fight, which is being behind the hats that Bowser throws. It's quite a bit faster than the normal method. Ooh, and a death by Riku in Topper fight. That's quite unfortunate. It's but the method for Bowser he just got it. It's quite difficult, but it does save quite a bit of time if you do get it. I don't think there's a reason why people fight Harriet first. I think most people just find Harriet more difficult, so they do her. Or maybe it's the other way around. They want to put off Topper as much as possible. They don't like doing him. But it's just up to personal preference. And now p4ntz is on to Escape after finishing that Bowser fight. Now there's a skip up ahead called 2D skip. They're going to enter a 2D area, and there's a very precise jump you can do off of a block that if you do it saves about 2 seconds off of doing the 2D area normally, but it is very difficult to do, and if you miss it, you're punished with death, which sets you all the way back. So it's a 2-second time save, but if you miss it, you get a very big time loss. And he seems to be going for it, and he makes it. Very scary movement, but it is very rewarding if you do get it. It's called 2D skip. You don't skip the entire 2D area, you just skip a very small portion. It saves 4 to 5 seconds, really. I only thought it saved about 2. Alright, and p4ntz enters the final area of the run. All he has to do is knock down the 4 pillars along this middle area, break the middle area, and jump into the wire, and then he will be finished. When you're at the end of a run, especially like a PB run or a race one, when nerves might be getting to you, it can be very tricky. 2D skip. Yeah, I thought it was 2 seconds. Alright, so p4ntz will be finishing out the run with a 1:14. As Riku enters Brutal. And he's doing the bird method rather than birdless, which is a lot safer than birdless. A 1:14.33. Congratulations, p4ntz. It's game over once Riku completes the fight here. Gonna see if I can get p4ntz in here for a quick interview. I'll have to come up with some questions on the spot. Riku doing a very interesting, brutal order. Usually people leave the top one for last. Ooh, nice recovery by Riku. And he finishes out the boss. And he'll be moving on to Moon Kingdom. And p4ntz says he is sick now, so he's not going to do an interview, which is okay, because hard to talk when you're sick. Not a good thing to talk when you're sick. So, yeah, Riku's moving on to Moon Kingdom. All he has left to do is Moon Skip, the Bowser fight, and escape. Minus 20 from PB for Riku, so we might be seeing a PB today. Yes, 2D skip is largely about nerfs, just because it's at the very, very end. One thing about Moon Kingdom that is very weird is obviously the gravity is very different. So things that are normally very fast, like rolling just with motion controls, aren't as quick on the moon. So it's all really... Moon Kingdom's getting fast movement here is kind of all about momentum, rather than just rolling a lot like you do in most kingdoms. Just because of the odd gravity. Goes for 2D, for Moon Skip here, not 2D Skip, and he gets it first try. Very good. And he moves on to the Bowser boss fight. World record is a very low 105. I'm not sure what it is in seconds, but it's, yeah, 14. That sounds about right. Actually, I had the leaderboard still open. Yeah, it's 105.14. Philly's right. Right, Riku comes into the boss fight here. So, I'm going to guess, this is just a guess, but I'm going to assume Riku's PB of 129 on the leaderboards is probably a little bit out of date, considering he's just said he was minus 20 out of Bowser Kingdom. I'm going to assume his PB is a bit faster than that, though I'm not exactly sure how fast it is. very good Bowser fight by Riku so far. Just has one more cycle to do. And then he will be in Escape. Yeah, you just go to the speedrun.com leaderboards for Mario Odyssey, and then you can submit runs there. And Riku closes out the fight. It was a very clean Bowser. And he will now be entering Escape. Aside from everything up until 2D skip and the last little escape bit are fairly straightforward. I didn't really talk about this during p4ntz, but there's a triple jump you can do here off this block that Riku just missed that saves a couple seconds. But outside of that and this little skip here, this segment is fairly straightforward. Though 2D, even just by itself, can be quite scary. Many runners, I know quite a few runners who have died even not doing 2D skip in 2D. All right, and here we go into the final segment of the game for Riku. Now, this room, there's a couple ways to do this room. The fastest way is to do exactly what Riku's doing right now and try and hit that rightmost pillar with fireballs. Then I believe the quicker method is to go along the left side instead of the right. I believe p4ntz went on the left side. Because you're able to easily shoot the pillars with your fireballs. It's not much faster, it's a little bit faster if you're very consistent at it with good movement and good aiming. But both ways are viable. All right. Yes, it is very easily to fall in one of those falling platforms and fall into the hole. It's very tricky. Not quite a sub 124, but a 124.02 for Riku. I'm not sure if that's PB for him, but that moon looked very clean. So I'm going to hope it's a PB for him. Here, I'm gonna see if he wants to come in for an interview here.
Hello.
Hello?
Hi.
I can't seem to hear you. I don't know if that's on my end, though.
Oh, no, it's 1 second.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, wait, you can hear me?
Unless that was through stream. I might have heard you through stream instead.
All right.
Just a moment. Hello?
Hi. Hello? Oof.
I cannot hear you. That's interesting. I'm going to restart my Discord real quick. Sorry about that.
Okay, I can interview myself. Don't worry. Question 1. How did you get so amazing at this game to get sub 125? Well, that's an easy question. Oh, my interviewer's back. Okay, I can't answer that.
Okay, I can hear you now. Good.
Okay.
All right, so how do you feel about that run?
It was pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I PB'd, so that's all I asked for. I haven't been playing this game that much lately. Yesterday I got like a 130 in the race. That was the first match. So I got 124 today. Probably gonna lose tomorrow too. I got another race tomorrow. But you know, I'll go for a PB again. That's all you can hope for.
Yeah, PBs are always nice, even if you don't win the race. Personal improvements probably what you should aim for instead.
Amen. How was p4ntz run? I wasn't watching the stream too much.
His run was fairly clean. He had a couple mistakes. He died at the end of Ruined, which lost him quite a bit of time. But for the most part, it was fairly clean. It was a 1:14:30, so. Okay.
Yeah, I caught the end of his race, I think, like yesterday. He got like a 1:15, so he did better than he did yesterday, at least, so that's good. He's out of group stage, right? I think so. I don't know, it's a lot easier when I'm in the group, so that's a free win for everybody. What, did he win against someone else?
Yeah, it looks like he won his second race. This was his third one. It looks like he won his second, so it looks like he'll be continuing on.
Okay, yeah, so it's him and Mistaken, I think.
Yes.
Alright. Cool. Anyway, yeah, thanks for commentating. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, everybody in chat right now, make sure you follow both the runners. I don't know if I can do the command. I can. Make sure you follow both the runners. I'm going to assume both of them will be doing lots of Odyssey. And Odyssey is always fun to watch. So make sure you follow those two. And yeah. I guess that closes it out. So have a great day, everyone.